there, gamer guys and gals. It is time to take a look at what I think started out as kind of a mobile game, but has made its way over to consoles, and that is Bridge Constructor Pro. Now, the version that we're looking at is the Ultimate Edition, and that includes both pieces of DLC that was originally launched for the game. What we've got here is kind of a little bit of a constructor gem, in all honesty. It does take place with quite a bit of physics that you have to take into consideration here. So the whole entire gist of this is you're laying out wooden platforms or stone. You want to brace your bridge to make sure that you are capable of holding the load of cars and sometimes even bigger trucks. So if you do not have the correct bracing, your bridge will not be having a good day and it may collapse, causing your poor um, drivers to get lost in whatever crater or abyss you're attempting to construct your bridge over. So one of the things we take a look at here are just a couple of different bridge builds. We've got like a really basic starter bridge with the first bridge. There it looks like I was able to do everything with just the wooden slats and wooden supports, but later on in the game you will have the ability to use things like concrete, steel cables, and all sorts of different things to help you with making sure that you can manage the weight, the load, and the strain on all of your bridge making materials. So I will say that this game is not it's not super complex to learn, but I'd say that the physics are definitely something that make it sometimes a little bit more challenging than you might even initially think. Now this looks really cute. It's got popping colors. The little guy there that introduces you to things. He looks, really kid friendly, but there's a lot of thought that goes into making these bridges and making sure that you can maintain weight distribution and making sure that in all honesty, you gotta make sure you don't push people into the gorge. So as the cars and trucks pass along your bridge, you'll see as they move along, it does get a little bit more strained. When you see strained, it'll visually show up whenever they cross the bridge as a reddening on which part is showing the most strain. So as something gets redder and redder, that means that it's under a lot more strain and pressure and it's more likely to collapse. Now, for short distances, you'll find that a very similar approach to the first couple of things is going to do pretty good. But as the bridges get more complex, you're going to need to think about things like bracing, support, adding things like this one, we've got concrete supports that we can start to add. So we've got the concrete supports down there, and they tell you that triangles are apparently one of the most best structures to use. They have a good amount of support, and it seems as though that may be the way to go for most of these. Now, there are some areas where you don't get more than maybe even one support area to add your beams, or there may be areas where you don't get any at all. So you'll have to use ropes to lessen that strain. Now, I had a lot of fun with this game. It was challenging in some regards, especially when I didn't have concrete supports. Using the ropes and steel cable. If you can master that, I think you could probably finish through the game with the highest ratings. Now, there were some levels that I really couldn't get the trucks to pass on, and eventually you unlock the ability to check to see if semis can do it. Now, you do have to stay under the budget that's at the top of your screen, which it shouldn't be incredibly difficult to do, but there are some times where, especially like this level right here, it can be a little bit more challenging than you might anticipate. So I've got one concrete brace area there, and I've got the ability to use my concrete platforms and my wood. And so this does get a little bit more complex. So there are some things to think about, a lot more, I guess, with the budgeting aspect than you might think. But overall, this is actually a pretty good game. It's I would say that it's kind of a little bit of a brain teaser because you do need to utilize all the tools at your disposal, as well as think things through, check and see. You're gonna sink a lot of cars. It's gonna happen. You're gonna be responsible for a lot of deaths, and then making sure that you're budget friendly. That's probably gonna be the bigger aspect of it. Now, if you could just freeform create things, I'm sure that would go over rather well. But it's just kind of unrealistic, and I think that's one of the things that the game really shines at is it is a pretty realistic approach to a bridge constructing game. And so we've reviewed a few games like this before. I had the original Bridge Constructor. We also had Construction Simulator, stuff like that. So if those are games that actually appeal to you, then I would say to pick this up. It's actually only $14.99 on the Switch eShop, so that's actually not bad, and it does include, like I said before, both DLCs. So personally, I think that it's actually worth it. I really liked this. I'll probably still try to finish it. It's very, very challenging, and I would say overall it's worth your time. So if you want to go ahead and give this a download, let us know what you think. Tell us your thoughts in the comments, share this post. This is something that I would say made a really good leap from mobile over to the console gaming aspect, because you can take your Switch with you anywhere, and is definitely a console that's portable. And I would say that this is definitely a game that you'd probably want to play maybe on the train or in the doctor's office while you're waiting. So thanks for checking in with us, gamer guys and gals. This has been Elias, and I'm glad to be your Switch guy.
This is the strangest story I have ever heard. Take a seat, grab a drink, and listen to my words.